we have ourselves from Niagara Falls, Ontario, Jonathan Carson on the right there, and he's going up against Jonathan Brody from Peterborough, Ontario. And I believe Jonathan is running a Scythe control, and Jonathan Carson, I think he could be running a Burning Abyss. I think that's what the matchup is here today. Jonathan Brody running Scythe control, inspired by Corey McDuffie. He ran at the last ARG with a combination of Trap Tricks, Artifacts, and Curry Bandits. So, but I don't know what Johnny's build is. I believe the build was given by his friend Ian Shields, who was responsible for the deck building, but I don't know what his deck building is. And Ian's known for his unorthodox style of play and deck building. He's got there quite the odd mind, if you will. So I believe that's what Johnny is playing today. Johnny was originally going to come in with just playing Gear, and then because that's all he had. And then I think Ian stepped in and was like, "Here, I got Scythe control that you can play," and it looks like he's doing pretty well so far. Jonathan Carson, no slouch as well.
We're doing pack poker over at my booth right over there. So pack poker, if you would like to know what pack poker is, all you need to do is go over to the booth.
So this is a clash of two cities we've yet to see featured at all, actually. We've yet to see Niagara Falls or Peterborough be featured at all. And we're in the clash of these two cities here happening today. So, judging from the expression, looks like Jonathan Carson won the
40 minutes, you may begin.
So, I saw magical hats coming from Carson. And that's actually not a bad call from Quillforts, considering you can get 2 sacrifices and get their effects off. And Johnny, and Brody already just exclaiming, "Oh my, I gotta go against Quillforts?" Oh man. So Carson opens up with 3 back row and a carrier equipped to sacrifice. So Brody will start off with a pot of duality. He says a Dioneer, a duality, and a bottomless trap hole. And you gotta think that bottomless is probably gonna be taken here. He's also holding an Ignition and a Sanctum. And he does get the bottomless trap hole. Johnny likes to play a lot of the decks that have very heavy back rows. So he's I guess that's why he feels a little more comfortable maybe running the Scythe control here. That's a little more up to date rather than just playing Gear, which was his original choice. He also could have had the option to play Denko Dolls as well, but looks like he decided to go with the Scythe control. Oh, and he's holding 2 Scythe. Oof.
That could be bad.
Yeah, so, well, he can at least trigger one with the. He can trigger one with Ignition. Yep. So he does set 4. And he's gonna end his turn. So here comes. Now it's unfortunate because the Scythes aren't gonna do that much on its own, but rather at least the effects anyway. But at least it's a 22 beater, so I can at least just outstick the sacrifices equipped to the Quillforts. So Johnny is going to take the 21, despite the fact that he does have Sanctum, Ignition with a Scythe and a Bottomless down. So he's just going to take the damage and just draw the game out and see what he can do. So he drew a Vanity's Emptiness, which at the current moment in time isn't going to help him out right now.
It's also not that strong against the Clifford deck in the first place.
No, it really isn't. All you can just do is just preemptively activate it or just chain it to disc, really. I wonder if he'll side them out afterwards. So he's going to play a Sanctum. I don't know if that... Looks like he just did it right off in the main phase there. It didn't look like it was in the battle phase or anything. So there's the Vanity's Emptiness.
But, yeah.
He's got it. Oh, hold on. Now, he cannot play that Ignition on that Vanity's Emptiness. Whoa, that can't be done. Hold on. Hey, he can't play Ignition. He has to destroy one of his own cards. He's not allowed to play that Ignition because he has to be able to set an artifact. So if he's going to play that Ignition, he has to destroy one of his own cards.
Good call.
So so he cannot do that at all.
This is why it's helpful to have a judge up here, because you notice these things.
Yep. I am indeed a judge myself, too. But I haven't judged lately, though. I've been enjoying the playing lately. Okay, so he does let it go.
So another 2,100 to John. B.
Yep. Jonathan Brody and Jonathan Carson. Both very good friends of mine, both of them. So it's quite entertaining to see both of these two have to go against each other. So there's a Regeki coming off Jonathan Brody. So at least he can get rid of the Vanity Emptiness if he decides to play that Regeki, but at the same time he's got that Sacrifice. However, he does have that Ignition to counter the Scout. Should Johnny have to play it, so he will play the Regeki, and I don't think John's gonna have a response to that. So
I don't think he minds, honestly.
No, you know what? It really, yeah, it honestly is not that big a deal because the Vanity's Emptiness did its job for the 1-for-1, and he still gets the Searchable Sacrifice, and he gets the Scout anyway, despite the fact that he knows that Johnny has the Ignition set due to the unfortunate the misactivation of Brody's side. Well, I guess they allowed him to take it back, take back that Ignition then, because technically he could still activate it.
Completely. No, you can still activate it.
Yeah, you can still activate the Ignition. He just have to destroy one of his own cards. But I guess they decided we're just gonna Carson just let him take it back. So there's that Scout.
I wonder. I was gonna say that Ignition.
So now he will play that Ignition. Yeah. Now, did he play it and change? Did he change the effect of it? I hope he did.
Yes, I'm very positive he
should
did.
have. And so he's going to set a Moral Attack. Strange he didn't go for the Beagle Attack.
I was gonna say I think Beagle Tech would be
Beagle
a lot more
Attack would have been a
powerful
lot
right
more
now.
better because if you destroy the Beagle Attack, you can at least destroy the Scythe because he does have a Scythe set. So it's strange that he chose not to go for a Beagle Attack unless he's got one in his hand, but it doesn't look like it because he has a Scythe and a Soul Charge. So does he run Beagle Attack? And he does run Beagle Attack, so strange that he opted not to go for Beagle Attack in that case.
Interesting. He just drew Call the Haunted.
Yep, so just drew Call the Haunted, which is quite useful actually in the Artifact engine. So he does set that Call of the Haunted. He's going to pass. So 5 back row. He's going to join Brody's side. So Carson's now going to open it up, and he's going to pass. Right back to Brody, and he's going to pass as well. He drew into a time-space travel, but that's not going to help him right now. Carson coming back now. And he's going to pass. And there's a Traptrix Dianea. That's not going to do anything. It's just merely a beat stick and nothing more, but he's probably doing it just so he can just put some pressure on him.
No, I believe that's an okay call. Just get some damage on the board.
Just,
put a monster on the board.
Unfortunately, though, if that's the case, he's got to be careful because just one Quillfort could just take it down. But it's not that bad because at least if he special summons it, he can at least make it. He can at least make a Dianea play. And wow. So he plays Snatch Steal. Wow. So he's taking the Dianea, and he attacks for 17 and passes. So there's the 1,000 life points coming in from Snatch Steal.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, this is the first time we're seeing some life point game off the Snatch Steal.
Or Snatch Steal in general, actually, right now.
Yeah, I believe so. Not everyone's maining the Snatch Steal. And Johnny has to pass. He just has a clogged back row, and he can't do anything right now. And
yeah,
Carson.
I think setting that.
Oh, there's that Scout, and Brody just not happy with that. So. Yeah, and he's going to let it go.
I believe that Beagle Tech choice would have been a much better one on that Ignition.
Yeah, absolutely, because if he's able to destroy his own Beagle Tech later, he can do that to pop his own Scythe. Oh, no. So now he's got...
Now he's got a scale.
A scale. So now Brody can... Now, Brody doesn't have any monster in his graveyard either, so he couldn't even play anything. So he can't even play that Call of Haunted. I don't know why he decided to set that call. He doesn't have nothing in there. So he can play Vanities, which he will do.
That could open up his back row, too.
It really could, too, because he really needs to get out with... He really needs to get some of his back row out, because he has so many cards in his hand that he could just go. So he's just going to swing for 17, putting him down to 24. But he's going to gain 1,000, so he's just going to get a negative 700, which really isn't all that bad. So there's the draw, and there's the Typhoon.
There's the MST that he
That
needed
MST
for
he
so
really
long,
needs
but
so
now
long.
still doesn't do anything.
Yeah, so he's just going to say not a bad decision at all, considering that he needs to get that Vanities off the field, and that he can burn a back row. He can burn one of his own back rows. Not to mention that Typhoon later on can also help with a moral attack play. But so there's the 800 paid off with John again, and now Jonathan Carson rather. And now he's just being able to gather resources. Well, just Brody's just sitting there like a duck, just like a dead duck, and just getting hit all over the place.
Yeah, this is kind of the problem with this Scythe control. You can kind of clog up really bad, but I agree with you. That call should not have been set.
Yeah, there was nothing, because the worst that could have happened was Dianea to come back, but Dianea coming back doesn't really benefit him at this point in time because he can't really use the effect for anything. So Carrier's going to hit the field now, and he's starting on Dianea and a Carrier. So then there's a Monolith and the Scout. So there's the Monolith and the Scout are both up there. And there's the Maxi. Activate Vanity's Emptiness. That's going to pop. And there's another 18 to the face, and he's going to have to take that too.
So it looks like Johnny B will get another turn.
Yep.
But will Carson pendulum summon this turn?
Oh,
With the monsters on the board.
I see no reason why not. There's no real negative repercussion for him to pendulum summon at this point in time. Unless he can maybe suspect Torrential Tribute, but I highly doubt that Johnny's playing it.
Looks like he's going.
Yeah, and he's going to. Yeah, there's virtually no reason why he shouldn't take the free pluses.
Just a Greg Williams 88. This is round 4.
Yep. Oh, and he drew a Sanctum. That actually could be very useful.
Yeah, that could get him that Beagle Tech.
Yes, exactly. He can get that Beagle Tech to get the moral attack, and the Scythe that he's got set there. So this could open a whole bunch of plays there for Johnny with that Sanctum. So let's see what he does. But he's got to be careful once again, because if John has another Vanity's Emptiness, that's going to be really, really bad for him. And he can't burn any of his back because he's got a Dead Call of the Haunted, a Moral Attack, a Scythe, and a Bottomless Trap Hole. And he opted not to play the Bottomless Trap Hole at all, strange enough as well. Which he could have freed up another space, and he chose not to. But he didn't know he was going to draw into Sanctum, so he's virtually taking a risk at this point that John Carson does not have a Vanity's Emptiness set. And if he doesn't have a Vanity's Emptiness set, then at least Johnny can survive for the turn, and at least, push back. So he will attack. And here comes the Sanctum. But does he have that empty? Yes, he does, and that's going to be game right there, because Jonathan does not have anything else to stop him. He can play Call on for Max C, but I mean, that's not going to help him. That's not going to help his cause. So this is going to be game over, because he's got a Moral Attack, a Scythe, a Call of the Haunted, and a Bottomless Trap Hole, and that's it.
Carson takes
Jonathan Brody just couldn't get anything going on, and Carson is able to take game 1.
That was an interesting game 1. You're right, though. Why did Johnny B there not activate Bottomless on any of the normal summons?
It's
or
strange.
Even the Pendulum summon?
Yeah, and he could even activate a Typhoon to destroy the Snatch Steel and then Tribute for a Scythe. That was also a play he could have made. There's also several plays he could have made, but opted not to, I guess. And it is unfortunate that he just made a couple sets that he shouldn't have, and that turned out to be his own doing. So a rough go there for Jonathan Brody, as Jonathan Carson's able to take game 1 there. So
it's interesting to see, though. Would Carson have any sort of a side for this? And well, he's got one Night Beam in the side. Does he main deck a Night Beam? Yes, he main decks a Night Beam, so those will definitely be effective against Johnny B's deck.
Yeah, but at the same time, he also wants to make sure he doesn't attack with he doesn't hit any artifacts with it while he does it. So he's got to be a little bit careful with that one. So, there's many cards he can run in this situation. But,
this is interesting. He sides 1 Recover. The level
and,
1
and
Earth tuner.
then 3 emergency teleport with that
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
that's a very interesting one.
That's I can understand why he does it, because he actually does extra deck 2 Naturia Beast. That's quite a call, to be honest.
Because
I see what he
especially in the mirror. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that
can throw
basically cripples him in the mirror.
Throw an App Beast on board, even against Clifford's, or sorry, even against Shadal's in the sense, he can throw an App Beast on board. You can negate their fusions, their El Shadal fusions, their Allures.
And virtually they have to trade it off with the beast, or or hopefully their Sinister Shadow games will with Dragon or Skull Monitor to get rid of it. So yeah, that would also be quite troublesome for them.
And what even about the Trapless Burning Abyss decks? They're just playing a lot of spells.
Yeah, they
Throw
are.
an App Beast on board and
You
stop everything they do.
Yeah, you just gotta hope you can at least defend against that too, or else
Yeah,
a Dante
true.
can swing, because Dante can easily swing over that. So
That's
that
very
would
true.
be problematic. Jonathan on the other, Brody on the other hand, he's probably gonna side in both the ice and fire hands, as that will play quite a problem. He also has a Mystical Space Typhoon in there as well, and 2 Spell Shattering Arrow, and even a Lance. So expect those cards to come in against in this matchup here for the side. As we do have finally for someone, we have quite a different matchup going on here. We
Yeah.
don't expect Scythe Control to come up here, along with against Quillforts. So refreshing change of pace, definitely.
These two are very, very competitive players, though. So I think Carson, as much as it was probably a little unexpected to see, he's probably well prepared, and he definitely understands what he's up against.
He's adjusted well though, so and he's continuing undefeated. So Jonathan Brody's going to play Duality, and he gets himself a Typhoon Duality and a Moral Attack. Not quite great cards you want to get. Probably a Duality or a Typhoon. Maybe a Typhoon to be able to at least stop the Scout. And there's an Ashura Priest in there
I
too.
was just thinking the same thing. Like,
Wow.
is that a Jura Priest?
That is a Ashura Priest, and it's strange he goes for Ashura Priest because it's got lower attack than all the Quillforts. So I find that to be a very interesting side deck, to say the least. If he's
Well,
believe he's siding
Is
it.
he sided or is he main it?
Oh no, that thing is main. I'm sorry,
Ooh.
but he does
What would he
run.
main that for?
I don't know. Maybe just Burning Abyss. He does run Honest though, so I don't know if he's trying to score with that Honest or
never know.
Honest Ashura Priest. No. But then again, this isn't Johnny's deck. It is the deck of Ian Shields, so it could be the erratic thinking of Ian Shields that's doing this. But then again, Johnny has opted to keep it in. So
And all the artifacts are light monsters, so
Yeah,
you know,
so-
throw Scythe out there.
so strange to see how this is going to work. So here comes 3 set cards. You could even
I almost think 4.
I wouldn't set the Beagle Tech, because if you set the Beagle Tech, it has to destroy a card. And there are no cards right now that Johnny would want to destroy on his own. So Beagle Tech right now would be a very poor set in this case.
And he realized it as well.
And realized
he
that as
definitely
well.
didn't
Yep,
set that.
you definitely don't want that. So, and Carson knows that Brody has a set Typhoon as well. So not a bad approach on Carson's part to just strike.
I agree with this though. Just go in there.
Just
get
go
some
in there,
damage.
get some damage. Now, is Brody going to activate? So, okay, he will activate at least the Sanctum. I don't think it would be wise for him to activate the Spell Shotting Arrow or the Typhoon at that point in time. But the Sanctum is not a bad call at all. And he's going to go for Moral Attack, and he's going to pop probably the Carrier, but let Carson search with a Sacrifice. But virtually, he knows that if he decides to go with the Scout, well, then he's got counters.
Yeah. And Carson is very knowledgeable of that face dynasty.
So he is going to take, but even knowing that information, he still goes for the Scout anyway, just to at least bait it out. Unless of course Carson has some sort of spell trap removal, like a Night Beam or a Typhoon. So maybe he's hoping for that as well. It doesn't look like he has any of it in his hand. I see a disc that he's playing around with, but that's all, and the Scout. And I think that's all he's going to be able to make this turn. No, he'll just set 3 cards to his back row, and that'll be that. Johnny's going to come down, and he's going to summon. There's the Ashura Priest, and there's a bit of a chuckle right there coming from Carson. Even from Johnny's giving a big smile. And the Ashura Priest is going to hit him for 17, and the Moral Attack's going to hit him for 21.
That's still a good bit of damage though.
38 though, hey.
And any life points you can get off a Clifford player, I believe, is always good life points. That's funny, though.
So 38 is going to hit, and he's going to set, I believe it was a space-time trap hole, I believe. I couldn't see it
I
off
didn't
there.
realize we were playing Go format.
Yeah, just get that big bank shot in there, too.
17 to each token.
14, not 21, with a big bank
Yeah,
shot?
that's true. 400 attack.
All right, so
It's like, come on, John, I dare you to say.
so Carson's turn now. At the end phase, after the Assure Freeze, bounces back to Johnny's hand. So he's going to go with a blind card and a Typhoon. It's a Typhoon, so he's going to hit. Okay, so he's going to hit that card. It's all no.
Gosh.
Oh no!
It's
He got the
spell-shattering.
spell shadowing arrow.
That's not good for Johnny B.
Strange though, he didn't decide to play that spell shadowing arrow to at least hit him for 500.
How would that work?
Is it face up? No, it's got to be continuous. I'm sorry. Never
Yeah.
mind. I'm sorry. My
Yeah,
bad.
it has to just destroy a face-up spell card, so
Oh.
that MST wouldn't have counted. That's a big hit to Johnny B though, because if he didn't hit that, the fact that John Carson hit the MST on the first go, he made it. He felt he could be free to actually get the scout off, and then Johnny B could actually chain that spell shattering arrow.
Oh no! He could have chained that spell shadowing arrow to destroy the MST. I did him for 500, so he could have.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But nonetheless,
Just little ruling plays that, or ruling calls that a lot of people don't get. I
it's
guess.
just kind of miss. But nonetheless, the important thing here is that Carson was able to destroy both the anti-scout cards on Jonathan Brody's side.
Absolutely.
So indeed, he did have numerous spell trap removal to be able to take out Jonathan Brody's cards, so he can play that scout safely.
You know, we still haven't gotten those menus.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm hungry.
We've asked 3 times too.
I know.
And nobody loves us, Bowie.
I know. So there's the carrier coming out on the other side of the pendulum, and it looks like Brody isn't going to respond yet. And
Interesting to see why Carson maybe wouldn't have gotten the monolith though, if he wanted a pendulum.
he could have, but either that or he already had the carrier in hand, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So he's going to pendulum summon.
Interesting.
Oh, and he's got the
That's
space.
big.
There's the space-time trap hole.
That's a very big card right there.
Yes, it is, and that's going to send it back to the extra deck. Sorry, to the main deck, which isn't going to help the cause for Jonathan, for Carson.
Oh, interesting. Has Carson normal summoned this turn? I don't believe
No,
he has.
he's
so
just made that pendulum summon. That's it.
So
but-
he has to normal summon his. Well, it depends on what his trap card is.
He opted not to. He lost his disc, which I knew he had in hand.
Yes.
So, whatever.
Oh my gosh, this is what I mean. He had to normal summon though. If he did, he probably would have survived that one turn.
Guess he didn't, but he didn't have it or something. Or he
Oh,
just
he
had a
was another scout.
He couldn't have. So, wow. And Brody is able to take game 2 away from Carson with a well-timed space trap hole, despite the fact that he lost a spell shadowing arrow and Typhoon. As we are going into game 3 of Scythe Control, piloted by Jonathan Brody, and the Cool Force piloted by Jonathan Carson. Oh my.
It's kind of funny
Very,
how
very funny indeed, yes.
Sarah Priest.
And also the suggestion that suggestion came in here from Van Sparrow that even if he drops magical hats, if Carson drops the magical hats, you can use the Sure Priest to knock them all out. I don't have to guess. Just knock them all. They're all going to be gone anyway. So we are in round 4 of our Yu-Gi-Oh! Open Championships. We have a little bit of a treat here, as we have a little bit of variety coming on here with Jonathan Brody, hailing from Peterborough, Ontario, representing Jeff's Cards and Comics, going up against Jonathan Carson, hailing from Niagara Falls, Ontario.
I would assume Carson's going to want to start this one
Yeah,
off.
looks like he's going to. And he's going to start with the Summoner's Art. That's the play he's going to want to make. Somewhat of a half-hearted chuckle coming from Brody's side, as he doesn't want to see that. So there's the sacrifice coming out. The ideal start for Carson.
He does have a sacrifice in hand, plus a monolith by the looks of it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the woman's trampling, so he's going to want to do...
Oh, he's going to pendulum and bounce that scalp back again.
He wants another, yep. So
Oh,
here
man.
comes the carrier,
This is a
or
very
Helix,
strong
I'm sorry. And he's going to pay another 800, and
It's a very strong opening from Carson.
here's the Helix. So he's got a Helix on board, and he has a sacrifice in hand already. So let's see who's going to get here. He's going to get another, he's going to get a disc. Sacrifice on, and he's going to tribute it off already. And that's his normal summon. He's already got disc, and he's already going to bring out 2 monsters. So already he's just wanting to fuel his extra deck so he can pendulum summon, getting ready for next turn. So it is double carrier.
Yeah, I definitely believe Carson is just fueling his extra deck for a pendulum next turn because he does have a monolith in hand and now a scout. So even the spell shadowing arrow in Brody's hand, even though it'll get rid of both of the scales, it's not going to effectively do anything because Carson just has the scale still.
Yeah, he can, and he can scale again. So, and thus he's going to draw some more spell and trap cards. But he doesn't open up with anything else. So there's a pot of duality to open it up. 1,
That
2.
fire hand, though.
There's that fire hand, and there's an ice hand. Wow. So he opts to play pot of duality over the upstart goblin, which is also interesting. I personally like to play the upstart goblin over the pot of duality because I just want to see what I draw, and then there afterwards decide what do I want with duality.
And John does take that ice hand, which I think is a correct call.
Now he's got to be careful. He knows that he's got to be very careful now because if he does that spell shadowing arrow, and he decides to play it on that scout or anything, and he sets it, Carson can just attack over that ice hand and then not destroy anything. So he has to be very cautious in how he uses his hands. And not to mention, he can't use Fire Hand to be able to destroy disc. So as well, so he has to be very careful about that, and hope he can remember that because many players actually seem to forget about that. There it is.
Ooh, and that's an
Oh,
honest.
that's an honest. Too bad. I don't see an Assure Priest though.
That
paired up
almost
with
could
that.
be very scary. Funny enough, though, because John does have the Sanctum, he could bring out a Moral Tech, destroy one of the face-offs, and then have the Honest for that disc.
Yes, he can.
This is going to be this is going to be interesting how this turns out.
I just wondered if he actually summoned. If he had to set the Beagle Tech too. So he go with the Pendulum Summon, and summon happens. Nothing, no responses there. So Jonathan Brody's just going to allow all this to happen. So there's the bounce of the Scout. Carson opting not. Carson, of course, won't pay because he doesn't want to bait out or anything. So he just wants that free Pendulum Summon.
This is interesting. Carson actually doesn't play stealth.
Oh, wow, it's strange.
He opts to 3 disc.
And this is also weird. And now he's actually opened up to Pendulum to exceed summon because he doesn't have any cool forts in the scales. He just has Tremblix.
What happened? Oh, yeah, no, he bounced the Scout
Because he
back.
bounced the Scout after the Pendulum
very
Summon.
good.
So now he can open up to many plays here.
He can open up to the XYZ summons. That's amazing.
He can indeed.
This is a very different way to see the Clifford matchup, or the Clifford deck right now.
This is a much different deck than what Cliffords are used to having to play against. So definitely a different side of what Carson has. Carson definitely have to play differently to be able to beat Brody here.
Does he play the Dweller? Carson does play an Abyss Dweller.
So he can go indeed to the Abyss Dweller here. So this is quite something to see here.
There is an Abyss Dweller in John Carson's extra deck, so he knows that that's an ice hand face down.
Yeah, he's got to gamble, but he's going to play the Scout anyway.
Now,
but
does John B spell shattering, or
he has to spell Shadow here.
I think he does.
He has to because if he's able to make a search with that Scout, he can tribute for a disc or shell or something, and then bounce 2, and he can't absolutely risk that. But unfortunately now he loses out that ice hand. He loses that ice hand's going to eat
Not
nothing.
necessarily though, because John B does have the Sanctum.
Oh, and he does.
So if
but-
there is a Dweller play, John B can get rid of it.
yeah,
And then again, has that Honest
Yep.
for that disc.
I'm just referring to if he had the ice hand and he just simply attacks into it, then he can't special summon because he can't destroy spell or trap card.
Yeah.
But now John decided to play a scout anyway, making that ice hand live again to destroy something. And the fire hand can still destroy the carrier or the helix. So this is still something that
He might just opt to
Mhm.
bounce the Fire Hand.
he might as well.
Or the ice hand,
That's
I
very
apologize.
true. Which is actually not that bad considering. Okay, so he will bounce the ice hand, and then he's going to just pop a card. If he pops that Sanctum, though, however, Jonathan's going to be in huge business if he's able to pop this
Yeah.
up.
Because then John B can even destroy the Scout.
Yeah, he could just yes,
Something to pop or even the carrier.
Yeah.
But again, he has that Honest.
he does. He does have an Honest in his hand too.
No,
So,
he hit the call.
oh no, he hit the Call of the Haunted. That's not the card he wanted to hit.
That's big.
That was absolutely big right there. And there's the summon of the disc. Oh.
John B's just not having this. This is
Oh.
a very, very strong turn for Carter.
And I think he could have played the Sanctum to get rid of the Scythe too. So, oh man, there's the wrong card. The card he wished he actually hit. That Brody wanted to get hit instead. So, but at least he can actually survive, which is the good thing.
Yeah.
He can
got another
survive
turn on
because
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna take out the Scout because he knows that everything else is gonna die. Well, at least a couple cards are gonna die.
I think Carson's going to get a bit of a surprise by this Honest.
Yeah. And he's thinking, why isn't he scooping here? And he's like, oh man, he's gotta have a gosh darn Honest. And that's the thing. That's what he needs to stay in this game. Oh man. But like I said, he can still exceed summon. So
That is true.
So you
Carson could just...
he can go to Arc if he plays an Arc, or even or doesn't even play Arc. He doesn't play Arc.
There is a Castell.
Okay, he can go Castell, and that'll be game over.
Yeah, he can go Castell.
Yes, because that disc is at one of the discs is at full, and if everything else is at 18, that's still game anyway. It's the question of would Brody play a Veiler, and would he have it? Carson's thinking that, right? I think that's what Carson's thinking. And no, he's not going to do it. He isn't honest. Oh no.
Nah, I don't think it matters, though. I think currently the position that Carson's in is, well, I don't know. He doesn't have a scale left now.
So he does have to
He
exceed. Up,
loses 3 cards.
I can't believe, but he just could have went Castell and just go off on him.
Yeah, I think he is going to go.
Well, now he's got to go Castell, but
But I don't think John Carson has any scale left.
he may not.
He
So
has one more Trample Links in the deck because he does play 2, unless he's sided 1 out. But his 2 Helix and 3 Carriers and 3 Disc are all up in play.
let's see. Now he goes to Castell. I got to think. What does Jonathan Brody want to draw to get out of the situation?
I almost feel like I think his only option really would probably be a duality, a Sanctum, like get into that Sanctum, and then, oh man, even then, this is hard to think. Because he's got Beagle Tech Ice Hand in hand, and Carson will not set a spell or trap, knowing that Ice Hand is in his hand.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. That's a fire hand. Well, that'll mitigate some damage, at least. So that's the best he can do, just mitigate some damage.
And he sets the Beagle Tech.
Yep. So one of the disc, however, is unaffected. Night
Oh
Beam.
man. Oh man.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, he'll get the effect.
No, because doesn't Beagle Tech have to destroy cards?
No, it gets when it gets special summoned, it has to destroy. It will get special summoned, but he just has to destroy it, but he can't. So that's what happens. So now he's got a wall, and now he's bought himself. he's bought himself a turn. Until that's up, unless that happens. That might be a problem.
No, he had that scale.
Yes, and we got to wonder if he's got enough in the tank left to make one more tribute, and assuming if he plays shell, he will.
I don't. No, he doesn't play the shell.
He does not play
And
the shell.
I'm pretty sure all 3 discs are out there.
But he's just trying to just score for damage. Okay, so he can at least bounce. Okay, so he can at least bounce that.
that's
So at
the
least
correct
disc can
call.
attack over. Yeah, so he can have disc to attack over.
Does John B have enough life points to survive?
I don't think
No.
so. This
No.
this won't be enough. So
Because the monolith gives 300 attack, doesn't it?
and that is match right there. And wow. Jonathan Brody tries to hold off resiliently, but cannot against Jonathan Carson's onslaught of Quillforts. And Jonathan Carson is able to win 2-1 versus Jonathan Brody's Scythe control.
That was an interesting match.
It was
Definitely
indeed.
was not expecting a Scythe control deck in such a meta.
So that was cool. Very interesting indeed. Wow.
That is Zero Priest though. That's funny. How a Zero Priest was able to take a game.
Could you imagine if that actually attacked the magical hats?
Oh man. Well, I'll attack everything.
Yeah.
So nothing really happened.
But then again, he was but Jonathan Carson was able to stave off the surprise that Jonathan Brody could fire at him, and he's able to win the match 2-1. Quillforts taking over Scythe control. And this was actually Jonathan Brody's first time running the Scythe control, so there could have been potential mistakes that he made there. But
Possibly.
he's relatively new to
Well,
the deck.
it depends. What are these guys' records? Are these guys up there?
I actually don't know. I don't know the records.
I guess we'll have to ask
okay.
Carson
Yeah,
when he
we
comes
will
up
have
here
to.
in a second. Actually, I want to keep this. I want to ask him
keep
about
that,
that
yeah.
magical hat.
That was quite a match there.
No stealth. I was very certain Clifford players would be playing at least 1 or 2 stealth. Almost guaranteed.
Yeah, it's surprising how he's not playing any stealth at all, which would actually be really beneficial towards that kind of deck against Jonathan Brody there, but he isn't, so it's definitely something we want to inquire.
Magical hats, the stealth. He does play this 2 skill drain in the main as well, which is quite interesting. But the 3 desk, for sure. That's and no stealth. That's a bit of a shocker to me. I'm not going to deny this.
Yeah, no shell, no shell, no stealth there. It's really a different build there for sure, but he was able to scrape away a win there.
Must be interesting to play against such a deck. We'll have to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention nice to get a win over that kind of deck too, but it's also fun to play. There we are. We got Jonathan Carson coming over here. Obviously, I have a seat there. Jonathan Carson, how are you doing, my good friend?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So you had to go get Scythe control there. You that's
interesting.
Bit of a surprise there coming at you.
Yeah.
Oh boy, but those Vanity's Emptiness really did work for you in game 1 there.
Yeah, it was pretty clutch.
Yeah, that was because we were mentioning that you needed to play that Vanity's Emptiness to his Sanctum, or else he was gonna have a shot. But you had the second one, and that's what I was guessing.
Yeah.
So a couple of questions to ask about your deck. First of all, you're not running any stealth.
No.
Why you're not
couldn't
running
find
stealth?
him.
You don't have the access to.
Wow.
So would you run stealth if you had some?
Yeah, I would play 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah. Would you keep the disc at 3, or would you opt to
I'd-
cut that?
Take it to 2 and 1 trampling scat.
Yeah.
I'm playing 2 right now.
Magical hats. What is this?
Just crazy tick.
Has it done any work for you today at all? Or?
Not really.
No. Interesting.
I'm guessing is that for a double sacrifice?
Yeah. Nice pluses.
Now, what would have been really funny is what Bowie mentioned was you magical hats, but then Brody over there drops that as Zero Priest on you.
Yeah.
And it hits them
That
all.
would've been on your-
Wouldn't that be something? Just,
Yeah.
oh,
It was
well.
actually would have worked out really good.
It probably wouldn't have happened, but it'd just be very, very humorous if it did
Yeah.
happen. And that's why, and no shell either.
No.
No shell. Do you think it's obsolete at this point? Or?
Yeah, pretty much.
much.
Even with stealth now as well.
Yeah.
Well,
The emergency teleport recover side.
yes.
That is a very,
mirror.
I believe it's a wise choice.
Yeah. wins game 1 if they open E-Teleport and any Clifford monster.
Just drop that one of those nap beasts. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. That was I really thought that was interesting. I was just like, why does east side recover?
Yeah.
And then Bowie also mentioned the teleports, and he is a psychic, so
Yeah.
that is definitely an interesting play for that mirror match.
Have you actually pulled it off yet? The Nat Beast?
Just the locals, haven't done it here.
Okay. Not here yet. All right. So are you not 4-0, or what's your record now?
X1.
Oh, you're 3-1. Okay.
Yeah. I got paired up. So
You got paired
I'm
up?
pretty sure it was XO.
Oh, nice.
You were
Oh.
oh XO. Okay, makes sense.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Nice.
How are you still liking the skill drains in the main?
I don't really like them.
Yeah.
They're pretty much auto side out.
Yeah,
for
everybody's
most
opting
things.
to side them rather than maining them now because they're still good against those rogue decks. Like even Stellars, you just
Yeah.
throw up a skill
Yeah.
drain. They're in a sad place.
Yeah.
So that's interesting though, because I was very positive that pretty well every Clifford player would be playing at least 2 stealth, and when I didn't see them, I was
That's
just like,
another option to take out the skill drains for stealth.
yeah,
is
'cause
to-
you have a lot more monsters to kind of
Yeah.
get your tributes off rather than more or less trying to force through everything with disc. So
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
everything's
Okay.
interesting.
I know, it's really interesting. And we noticed, though, the one play when you went to Castell, we're
Yeah.
surprised you didn't go to Castell before, and then
Yeah.
bounce his moral tech, and then swing game. Just in case of that threat of the
That is
honest.
true, actually.
Yeah, we're wondering why you did, because I'm thinking he could if he goes to Arc or Castell before you swing with all those monsters, that could have been game.
Yeah. I was like,
All right, so
I knew he was playing honest too because I watched this game before, but like,
oh, okay. Yeah. See, that's what we were wondering.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know that he's playing that honest?
and I'm
'Cause-
just like, doesn't matter if I attack in with him and then just do it after. And I know he has a nice hand in hand because
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
before. but-
And you had your scale for the next
Yeah.
turn for a pendulum anyway, so it's definitely big.
he actually drew to a fire hand, and
Yeah.
you bounced, and then you bounced the fire hand. So 3-1. I don't think you've made a top 8 yet in the
No.
YCC. Okay,
I
well
only
you
got
got
10 of the first couple. So
we have 3 more rounds to go, so you got to win another 3, hopefully,
Yeah.
and then get in there. All right,
see how it goes.
all right, Jonathan
Yeah.
Carson, thank you very
Attention,
much.
YOCC
Good luck.
players,
you.
that is now time of the round.
All right, that was Jonathan Carson there. He's now moved on with a 3-1 record, defeating Jonathan Brody, who now is at a 2-1-1 record. That was actually his first loss of the day, and had a draw earlier. So he was actually 2-1-1. Technically got paired up,
We're not playing goats.
but now the tables have turned, and now Jonathan Carson has a better record than Jonathan Brody, going to 3-1-0 to Jonathan Brody's 2-1-1. And if you're just joining us here today, we have just completed our round 4 feature match featuring Jonathan Brody from Peterborough, Ontario, running Scythe Control, losing out to Niagara Falls' Jonathan Carson, running Clifforts. He's able to win in a 2-1 victory. We are located here in Mississauga, Ontario, which is pretty much attached to the hip of Toronto. Here at the MVP Lounge, doing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Open Cash Championships, YOCC. I am David Bowie, joined here with my broadcast partner for the day, Eric Buckingham. And we are here to take you out throughout the day from here until the end of the tournament. We've got 3 more rounds of Swiss to go, and then a top 8. And then we might even get some GOAT formats in there as well, so you never know. We're going to try to fill in as much airtime as we can. But thank you very much for everyone who has tuned in and is still tuning into us right now as we speak. Thank you very much for joining us.
We appreciate it, guys, for sure.
And don't forget to ask any questions. We're up there. We have 68 people here today, so that would have 7 rounds. And it's quite a decent turnout. It's kind of about the average number we're getting around. We're getting around like 60, 70-ish people at least out there. Well, it's still pretty good. It's about $20 a head, so $70. So about $20 for 700. It's about 1,400 in the pot right there, pretty much almost. So that's a lot.
Probably something along $400 for the
Yeah,
year.
there's a lot of money in there.
It's a good chunk of
to be
cash
won.
for sure.
It absolutely is, and like, we don't know how much exactly our winner is getting yet. Something around like the mid 200s, I think, around that.
Yeah.
But we just completed round 4, and we got to have a nice, interesting match of Scythe Control there, being in a 2-0-1 record before that matchup. I think that's the probably the most interesting deck that's out there right now. Maybe aside from Madolches and Satellar Knights.
Well, I did think we heard from Noah that there is actually a Noble Knight player here. So
Oh, that's I just wonder how well that one's doing.
should be interesting to see, even considering people's Scythe, Spell Shattering Arrow, and the Cliff Form here. Like a lot of those swords reoccur, but that's still damage.
That's
so
still
much.
at least 2,500. It's just a burn card at that point in time, and we all know like a big burn card can sway the game, especially
Yeah,
in time
absolutely.
or if you get them down close to death.
Definitely could.
Yeah, because we also haven't seen. I haven't even seen anything yet from the new Noble Knights
Yeah.
deck. So I haven't even really seen how they've done yet.
Yeah, I don't even know what Merlin does or any of them.
Oh, Merlin's a nice card if we can get up there, but we'll take a look today. We'll see if we can get the Noble Knight player up here if they have a good record, but we don't know for sure how
That'd
well
be
they're
interesting.
doing. If they're at least X1, I think that'd be good. I think that's good enough. But but we at least did Scythe control this round, so we got at least something interesting up there.
I think we still need those menus because Kenneth already has another plate.
I'm
of food.
starving.
Kenneth. All right, he heard over the chat.
There we go.
So I think we're gonna get our menus finally.
Thankfully, I'm hungry. I
a little bit of food.
I had the chicken Alfredo the first time I was here. It was
yeah?
delicious. It was delicious.
I don't know what I'd have. Probably, maybe a hot dog or two, burger.
Hot dog. Yeah. Well, we can get ourselves an appetizer. We can split an appetizer for ourselves too.
Oh, that would
or
be
get an
good.
appetizer each for
At least then we
ourselves.
can nibble on something while the other one.
Oh,
talks.
exactly. We can nibble on something as we eat because I know I had I think I had monster sticks last time.
Oh,
I
yeah?
nibbled up there with
Oh,
Michael Bohr. Oh my
thank
God.
So this is our menu for
Oh, that's the. What about the other menu, like the actual house menu?
They don't have it because they only have one chef at the moment.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's fiddlesticks.
I'll trade.
Fiddlesticks. I want a chicken Alfredo.
Well. And do we get two things off this menu?
No, we can totally get like.
What do you want? What do you want?
That Caesar salad and 2 hot dogs sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it does sound good.
And
The 2 hot dogs sounds pretty good to me.
sure. How about you?
I gotta wonder, what do I want to eat? I know I'm a bit hungry myself here. Yeah, we'll ship that right to Chicago for you, Vexy.
Sorry.
Let's take a hamburger.
Yep.
I'll take a hamburger and a Caesar salad.
Sure.
Oh, should I tell you what I wanted the hamburger?
Yeah. Well, what do you want?
Extra pickles and
Yeah,
mustard.
Bowie here is
Okay.
just
All right.
very picky on his food.
I'm really picky when it comes to sandwiches and hamburgers. I gotta have it specifically that way. I'm actually really deathly afraid to ketchup. I hate ketchup so much.
I used to actually, whenever I'd get anything from anywhere, I'd actually just get plain burgers, plain cheeseburger, McDonald's, Wendy's, always plain cheeseburger.
Plain.
And when I was very young, but grew up, I started liking my condiments and all the extra toppings. So
I'm a big fan of like tangy stuff, so I love like mustard, pickles. I love all the tangy stuff.
I don't mind the pickles or the mustard, but there has to be everything else there, like the lettuce, tomato.
Yeah, I don't mind the lettuce, but I hate tomatoes too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
tomatoes,
my
ketchup, hate them, and onions.
I just like my tomatoes actually on my burgers only.
Really?
I don't like them on anything else.
Yeah, we're getting really hungry over here. Yeah, now you can see me ordering
Sorry,
the food.
Vexicus, we don't mean to.
Like,
I'll make sure to indulge myself just for you, Vex.
like so long as like the foods I really hate are not on there, then I'm not that picky. But other than that, like I just don't like. I really hate onions. I really hate bean sprouts. I really hate ketchup. Those are the 3 big things I hate.
I really like onions. Mushrooms too. You don't really ever see mushrooms on burgers, but
No, you don't. You have to like specially order them.
yeah,
But I
mushroom
love-
melts or something. Yeah.
I actually like. I love mushrooms.
I love mushrooms.
They're so
Mushrooms are
delicious.
amazing. I've always found mushrooms to be really good, especially if you saute them and then throw them on your steak.
Oh my god, I do that all the time. I
Man,
love
I'm
it.
getting real hungry now.
Look what we're doing. I'm
Gotta
sorry
stop
for making
talking
you.
about
I'm
this.
sorry for making you all hungry, guys. We just haven't eaten yet.
We've been sitting down since 11:30 here, and it's 10 after 4 here Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So we've been here for about 5 hours. Oh, almost 5 hours now. Yep, almost 5 hours.
Interesting. It's quite the turnout though. Vexicus, yeah, heart Vexy.
68 players. dueling it hard here, trying to take home the title of the YOCC Prelim 3 Championship. And there's a lot of good players out here today, and I don't know how everyone's doing here, especially with this meta game shift. I don't know who's at the top tables or anything.
I am kind of hoping to see Eric Dalton up in the feature table, or still up in those top tables.
He's a good player in his own right, and won his own
very
good day
methodical
yesterday.
player.
And yeah, ever since he topped his first regional, he's been on fire ever since.
He won that one regional, and then he just took off. He started dominating. He started really showing off his potential.
Won a regional, and then he topped 32 YCS. YCS Toronto won another regional after
top
that.
16 because he made draft.
Oh yeah, he did draft. Yes, he
He made
did
top
draft.
16 at YCS
Yeah,
Toronto.
and then then topped another regional after that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, fell short into the regional afterwards. Unfortunately, but yes.
But